So
All
that's
right.
good.
Um, Good afternoon. My name is Mr. Smyche. Welcome to Parent University. Our session today is on internet safety. And my name is Mr. Smyche. I'm the world history teacher at College of Chief Patterson for ninth grade.
My name is Ms. Lubin. I am the music teacher of K through 2 at College of Chief Patterson.
Hi, I'm Miss Morales and currently the physical education teacher for College of Chief Patterson. Ronnie Lubin es la profesora de música y el señor Mr. Smyche es el profesor de history del 9º grado.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. So today, our session is going to be on internet safety. Kind of like just going over. We're going to look at a short little intro of what this whole presentation is going to be about. We're going to look at, or I'll let you guys kind of give you an opportunity to click on this link. It's going to take you to a different, like a quiz, kind of like testing how well you know your child regarding on what they do online. And then we'll also be going over some tips for keeping our children safe when they go online. And there is going to be a video, and we'll do some presentation slides for it. And then we'll finish it off with, what do you do? What does your child do online? What are the different like websites, apps that they use, and how you can be familiar with, like, or look out for what some of the dangers are, and we'll look at how you can address those issues with your children.
So thank.
Okay. Do you want me to translate that?
Go ahead. Yes.
Okay. El señor Mr. Smyche va a hablar de una introducción de consejos para mantener a sus hijos seguros de las cosas que están en la internet. Cualquier son algunas cosas que los niños hacen en la internet, por si acaso algunas aplicaciones, algunas líneas de internet y el contenido a lo que es apropiado o lo que no es apropiado, la prioridad o lo que es íntimo. Lo que está en la internet. Eso es lo que va a hablar en la primera parte. Y va a enseñar también un video.
Okay. Oh, perfect. Gracias.
All right. And once we're going to share this presentation, you're going to be able to click on the word tips for keeping children safe online. And it's actually going to take you to a different website, Internet Safety 101. And you can just kind of go through those questions at your own pace. I don't want to like have you guys do it during this session because it's going to like take some time away. It can take up to 10 minutes. So you can go through that quiz at your own pace, and it'll kind of let you know, where you stand with how well we know the apps that our kids are using online today and what some of those dangers could possibly be. So we're going to continue. Our next slide is going to be going through like a quick little intro video. So I don't know if you want to translate that before we start.
Como mencioné antes, el señor Mr. Smyche va a continuar a hablar entre las cosas que debe usted saber de la internet a lo que es apropiado. Todo está grabado, también hay una manera que usted va a poder explorar el programa y usted puede cliquear y usted puede ir a hacer a su mismo tiempo, a cuando usted tenga tiempo, porque se demora como 10 minutos. Y cualquier pregunta nosotros les podemos ayudar.
So thank you for joining us this evening.
Muchas gracias por venir, señora Fernández.
We will begin this presentation with a short video about how to keep your child safe online.
Esto va a ser un video con consejos para mantener a sus hijos seguros de cosas en la internet. A lo que usted puede ver lo que es apropiado o lo que no es apropiado.
Okay. Yes, very interesting.
Nobody will hear you.
All right, can everyone see the presentation? Yeah, right.
¿Usted puede ver la presentación?
Um, bueno, estoy viéndolo aquí muy pequeñito en el celular, pero sí lo puedo ver. Lo puedo ver.
Okay. She's on the phone, but she could see it
She can
small.
see it.
But she can see it.
All right. Okay.
For keeping children safe online. The internet has already become part of our everyday life, and now our kids are getting online more and more. As they do schoolwork online, they will naturally become more comfortable with the internet. Soon they will start wanting to use other apps, to go to more websites, and be part of social media platforms. This means that families need to understand that there is a dark side to the internet. Also, that there is a need to make sure that all kids are safe when they are online. As a parent myself, I know it can be a challenge to give my children trust and space while still being able to make sure they do not see things that I do not want them to see. I worry that they could be bullied or share information to someone that wants to harm them. In this video, we will offer a few suggestions to help you keep your children safe when they are online. Also, we will connect you with some resources in case you need more information. How you approach internet safety is really going to depend on your child's age and if they can think critically and make decisions on their own. Please keep this in mind as we give you some ideas on how to support your child's safety. Communication. The internet, including social media platforms, is so complex and changes all the time. Your first and best defense against your child seeing harmful content is to build a relationship of open discussion. This will let your child know that you will be asking them what their online activities look like. Also, tell them that they should come to you if they ever see something that makes them uncomfortable or confused. You can then work together as a family to discuss or solve any problems that may come up. It is important to teach younger children to ask permission to use the internet or visit new sites. This will help you show and talk to them about the types of websites that are safe. This is a great time to have honest conversations about what they do online. Showing your interest in the online activities they like is one way to open up discussion. As your children grow up, you can start conversations about the dangers of being online. Show them what to look out for, what they should and should not share about themselves. Some things to talk to your older children about include avoiding clickbait, scams, phishing, and how people can gather and use their online information. Searching their own names to see what information may be online for everyone else to see can lead to a good discussion about privacy settings. Social media can be an excellent tool for your child to connect with friends and family, but it has problems. Especially for younger children, you may want to let your child only interact with people you know. It is a good idea for you to be able to see their profile as well. It is important to keep an eye out for signs of peer pressure, hurt feelings, or cyberbullying, and to discuss these with your child. Here are some other topics that you should talk to your child about that will set the stage for online safety. What types of information and websites they should and should not see. How easy it is to get to new and maybe inappropriate websites in just a few clicks. Show them what is an ad and what is a pop-up. Explain how people use these to direct them to other sites that are sometimes inappropriate. Bad online behaviors and what could happen, such as spending too much time online, leading to a lack of sleep and stress, how people can bully or hurt people's feelings, how that can get them in trouble with their school or even the police, people online trying to trick them, for example, adults using fake pictures, information, or social media pages trying to get personal information. Why it is important to never keep secrets from you about their online activities, especially if someone online asks them for things like their personal information, where they live or go to school, to have an in-person meeting, to send pictures of them, their house or school, messages, pictures, or videos that make them feel uncomfortable or are not appropriate, to harm themselves or someone else. Monitor and track online activities. The next tool in your belt is watching what your child is saying, doing, and looking at online. This looks very different depending on the age of your child. Still, no matter their age, you should explain that you are watching their online activity to keep them safe, not because you don't trust them. For children in elementary school, it is important to limit the number of websites they go to. You may even want to know every app and website your child visits. As children get older, they may start to explore more applications and websites out of curiosity or because their friends are using them. Make sure you have access to all the apps and websites your child uses, including their usernames and passwords. Consider setting up a weekly time to review your child's device or computer. Look at all messages, applications, or social media platforms for conversations, emails, pictures, or videos. You can also track their web history to see the sites they visit. If you find apps or websites that you do not recognize, ask your child what they are and why they have them on their device. If you see an online friend that you don't know, ask your child about them. There are also online protection tools like parental controls, monitoring software, and other online safety tools for free or at a low cost that you may want to look into. To learn more about tools that block harmful content for children in kindergarten through 12th grade, visit this link in the description below. Also, keep in mind that most phones and internet services come with parental controls. Contact your service provider for more information. What to do if a problem arises. Your child needs to know that participating in certain negative online activities can get them in trouble at school and may actually be crimes. Knowing that some online activities can be considered crimes can encourage your child to tell you when they see any negative online activities. If your child is ever faced with offensive material or an online predator, you should always document them. It is important to take pictures since some applications can be deleted and then report the situation to local law enforcement. You can also report any websites operating illegally to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children's website at cybertipline.com or call 1-800-843-5678. For more information, visit this link in the description below. Thank you for watching this video. If you have ideas for future videos,
and we can see if we can drop some of those links too when we upload the files in case anyone else comes in, watches it, and everything. But I think it's very important to talk about internet safety, especially because the internet nowadays can be seen oftentimes, as a great tool for our scholars to expand on their learning. But obviously, it can also be, they can run into a lot of issues, problems that sometimes are or a lot of times actually are not even intentional, or they didn't mean to do it, but they come across something that could be potentially dangerous. So that's what we're going to kind of look at before we go on. And since we do have a participant here, I was going to see if Mom knows what her child does online. Obviously, it depends on the age group, what apps they use, how they get online. Do they just go on the computer, or do they have a cell phone? Do they have a tablet, a watch, a video gaming device, and so on? So if you want to ask Mom.
El señor Smith quiere preguntarle a usted qué tipo de ¿cómo se dice? De teléfono o tablet usa su hijo o hija.
Usa la tablet de una iPhone, un iPhone y bueno, y a veces utiliza la computadora.
So uses an iPhone and sometimes uses a computer.
And a lot of times too, I've noticed, well, especially nowadays with the gaming world, you know, the gaming devices, Xbox, PlayStation, they also have online features, obviously, where you go online, and while the children a lot of times like just use it to play games, they can also potentially, you know, just come across those same type of issues that we're seeing on here, especially since technology is evolving. Watches too, the smartwatches now have internet functions. So just it's important to be aware of all the different types of devices that that our kids use to go online, so that when we do have a discussion with them and when we kind of like try to check in with them to see what they're using, we're at least aware, or we know where to look for, or where to kind of like ask what to ask them about, so that just to make sure that we cover all the points.
So, él quiere solo quería averiguar qué era, porque también le quería decir que hay diferentes maneras de poder tener acceso, digamos, si es que tienen, él tiene un PlayStation o un Xbox, ellos pueden chatear en tipo de online por el sistema, como un chat, o también si es que tienen el reloj, que son los que son dígitos, también tienen acceso, y es importante saber que ellos, los accesos que tienen, si es que digamos a veces usted le quita el celular, pero tiene un PlayStation, o ellos pueden accesar a la internet con otras cosas, para que usted sepa.
Sí, gracias. Sí, eso estoy pensando porque, él tiene una Xbox y, o sea, yo veo que conversa con otras amigas, pero o sea, yo le explico que no pueden dar la dirección, no puede, que quizás
Exacto.
amigos, pero no se sabe qué edad tienen, pero también a veces me preocupa no saber exactamente quizás cuál sería.
¿Y cuántos años tiene su hijo o hija?
Hijo, uno 13 y otro 10.
Okay, so she has two kids, and it's 13 and you said, and ¿cuánto? Dos,
10.
Y 10, yeah. She was saying that that's what she worries, because her son has an Xbox, like you mentioned, and so the online thing, and so it's good that we're giving her kind of like tips on it and the background of it as well.
Definitely, yeah, and I think also, like, I think I understood a little bit of it, and she was saying how like the child like plays Xbox, and like a lot of times will talk to their friends
to like girls, right?
So that was like a big thing with us too. Nowadays, we gotta be careful too, because with like a lot of times the way when they sign up into these profiles and everything, they give out a lot of their personal information. Sometimes the parents even have to give out bank account information. So it's just important to know to protect all that, and to let the kids know too who they should be giving this out, and what type of information they should never be giving out. So that's the next slide we're going to be looking at, is kind of going like over some of these safety and security issues that can come up. The good news is that most children are not getting into trouble online, but there are still risks to consider. And some of those issues that we're going to like kind of go over today, they're not very specific just to one device, like, the Xbox or the phone, or not even a website. No matter what your children are doing online, they're going to face some of these issues that you see here, like inappropriate content, online privacy issues, some sexting issues, online enticement, and definitely like on the rise to cyberbullying. So, while you may think you don't have to worry about cyberbullying because you have younger children or teenagers, or you might think like your teenager knows how to like respond or not to respond to inappropriate messages, but these topics are relevant to every child at some point. So that's what we're going to try to talk about in a way that's appropriate for your child's age.
So, va a hablar el señor hablando de, como estaba mencionando, de que hay también maneras de poner maneras de privacidad y cómo usted puede controlar y porque a veces cuando, digamos, si es que tienen social media, Instagram o cualquier cosa así, pueden estar hablando cosas inapropiadas y cosas así de sexo o contenido que no es apropiado, o también pueden hacer bullying por la internet o por los juegos de Xbox o PlayStation.
It is important to talk about the risks of using the internet at every age. On to the next slide. This chart shows how you can talk to your children about the online risks in an age-appropriate way. No, I'm still on the first slide.
Do you want me to translate? Like,
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this chart shows you how you can talk to your children about all of these online risks.
Entonces, en este grafo usted va a ver que diagrama que estas maneras de que usted puede hablar a su niño y cómo hablar a su niño si es contenido que es un poco inappropriate.
You should start talking about online matters or netiquette with your youngest children.
Debe hablar con sus hijos o hija de contenido que es inapropio o cualquier otra aplicación que no es buena, apropiado a la edad.
So they have a good foundation to later, good foundations and lessons to and tips to use against cyberbullying.
Y contenido que puede dar consejos a cómo poder cómo poder si es que un problema de bullying algún día le dan como maneras como cómo hablar o mejor a cómo se dice a no como ignorarlos a esos problemas como que si no fuera nada.
You can start talking to your tweens about posting, revealing pictures, and that can evolve it into a frank discussion about sexting when they become teenagers.
Para los niños que son de edades ya de 13 o mayor, cuando se comienzan a mandar mensajes que contienen contenido de sexo o fotos, cualquier cosa inapropias, a cómo poder hablar con su niño, en cuál manera poder hablar con su hijo o hija.
You can talk to children about not trusting anyone or everyone that they meet online.
Puedes hablar con tu hijo que no puedes hablar con toda la gente que esté en la internet o en los juegos porque nunca puedes preguntar cosas que son privadas y siempre ustedes tienen que estar monitoreando a lo que su hijo están haciendo.
By the time they are teens, they will be ready to discuss the risks of meeting people online.
Cuando ya lleguen a esa edad, es hora de hablar en contenidos que son así que o riesgos que pueden encontrar en los que están en la internet.
Remember that the skills your child needs to practice safe behaviors online are skills that are built over time.
Y eso es contenido que uno podemos ayudarle a usted y ustedes ayudarles a cómo estar viendo y darles informaciones de cosas que hay en la internet y cómo poder pasar esa fase y que usted tenga la conciencia.
The information you will learn in this presentation will help you prepare for a lot of these discussions.
Okay. Bastantes cosas de lo que vamos a hablar en la presentación le va a ayudar a cómo poder hablar con su hijo y cómo hablar en el tipo de lo que es cualquier manera o riesgo que venga en el futuro.
For younger children, you can discuss netiquette, looking at inappropriate content, pop-ups and passwords, and not trusting everyone you meet.
Pueden hablar de cosas que sean inapropiadas o ads, cosas que vienen y le pueden dar virus a la computadora o que pueden robar informaciones personales como las contraseñas y a no dar cosas a extraños, a gente que no conoce, que sean gente de la internet.
And for tweens and teens, it's good to talk to them about cyberbullying, sexting, posting personal and inappropriate information, and meeting offline.
Es importante que usted hable con su hijo o hija en cosas de que manden mensajes de sexo o si es que le hacen bullying, cómo hablar y cómo poder a que se expresen cómo es a lo que también si es que se tienen social media, a lo que es bueno a postear o lo que no es bueno a poder postear en la internet.
Inappropriate content.
Contenido que es inapropio.
Let's start by discussing the inappropriate things your child may encounter online.
Vamos a hablar de algunas cosas que tu hijo o hija puede experienciar cuando están explorando la internet.
The internet opens up an entire world of information and images.
La internet es un mundo que abre a informaciones que puedes enorme, puedes buscar cualquier cosa.
Some of which you don't want your children to see.
Algunas cosas que no quieras que tu hijo o hija vean porque es inapropio.
On the internet, your child might come across these content features.
En la internet, esos son algunos cosas que tu hijo o hija pueden ver. So vamos a hablar en los siguientes.
Pornography,
Porno,
excessive, excessive violence,
violencia,
hate speech,
a los que se hablan mal a la gente, a mal hablar de la gente.
risky or illegal behaviors.
Cosas que pueden ser son ilegales o cosas que no deben hacer en la internet.
Mr. Smythe?
All right. And so we're going to look at, and this next slide is showing us some of the things that we can do to respond. All right. Seeing inappropriate content online may have negative effects on children.
Ver cosas que son negativas en la internet o de violencia puede tener un efecto bastante para su hijo o hija.
And the kids, especially the younger ones, a lot of times may feel guilty or ashamed.
Especialmente los niños que sean de menores edades pueden sentirse culpables o tímidos con las cosas.
And sometimes too, children exposed to these violent or sexual content may become desensitized to it, and it can also affect their self-image and overall development.
Al cual estar su niño que vea bastante cosas así, tiene un efecto bastante como él o ella se vea en su en su sistema y cómo la confidencia del estudiante, entonces tiene un efecto grandioso en lo que puede afectar en el development de lo que crecen.
It's important to let your kids know that they can always talk to you about anything. And the internet is a great tool for them. So like you don't want them to be afraid of it either.
Es importante que le diga a su hijo o hija que ustedes pueden hablar con cualquier cosa que pase para que no vayan al internet buscando por otras cosas y que ellos pueden confiar en ustedes en decir cualquier cosa a lo que pase en la internet.
And if your child does open up to you, comes to you about some inappropriate content that they may have seen, it's important to like listen to everything that they're saying and to kind of like stay calm and show like that you're like keeping a calm demeanor, that you're being understanding.
Es importante que si es que su hijo o hija le venga con cualquier tipo de problema que sea inapropio, que usted se mantenga relajada y no reaccione para que usted le enseñe que usted está ahí para escucharle a cualquier cosa que le quiere enseñar o decir.
It's like important to reassure them, to let them know that it's not their fault for like coming across one of those things that's listed up here, or anything that made them feel uncomfortable. If you believe they received the inappropriate content from a friend, or you even think they might have shared that inappropriate content with someone else also, you may want to reach out, maybe talk to a school counselor or a teacher at the school. And the biggest goal here is to have a regular and active conversation so that the child feels comfortable coming to you and talking to you about these issues. It's important to have that conversation and not just have one where we're reacting to a negative incident or behavior that happened.
Si es que le viene su hijo o hija, vienen a decirle que han estado en una página o alguien le ha dicho cosas que le ha hecho sentir inconfortable, y cuando le esté diciendo, es importante que usted, otra vez como dije, que se mantenga tranquila y le escuche, y para que así puedan hablar y saber en lo que ellos en verdad han visto, y para que le digan más, y usted tiene que tener, escuchar y averiguar cosas para que ellos siempre le tengan confianza en decir cualquier cosa y no reaccionar y preguntar preguntas.
And the big takeaway here that to what to talk about to our child when they do find inappropriate content, it's turn off the screen, the monitor, turn off the phone, turn off the Xbox, the TV, use the back button on the computer, tell a trusted adult if they have any questions or need help with it, and also make sure to tell them to report the content when possible, either to the website, to the app. I know even on the Xbox, you can always, like report by hitting like the start button. It's always like one of the features on there. And the websites, the apps, they're also like, being aware, and they are trying to make it easier for the users to report any issues that they come across.
Hay diferentes maneras que usted puede reportar, y cuando usted tenga cualquier incidente. También los Xbox o los PlayStation también tienen botones que pueden reportar, o cuando pase cosas así, contenido que su hijo o hijo se ha encontrado, que ha estado viendo, usted siempre apague la computadora, apague el PlayStation, apague todo y repórtalo.
And basically, maintaining this conversation, kind of what we were saying before, and building it up as our children are getting older, the conversation that we're going to have with them may start to switch from, if you see something, report it. You also want to talk to them about inappropriate information that they should never share online. And some of that information is listed up here: illegal or inappropriate behavior. They shouldn't share any offensive language. Anything that's posted online, you always want to remind them it stays there. Someone can always take a screenshot of whatever was said, and they can always try to use it against you. Threats of violence, especially today, it's taken very seriously. So we never want our children to post it as a joke, because that would obviously have some unintended consequences. Do you want to translate that? I'm going on too much.
You're on mute.
Sorry.
Thanks for that. Cosas que no postear en la internet, contenido que sea ofensivo, cualquier actividad que sea ilegal o lenguaje ofensivo, amenazas de violencia, o hablando de tomar fotos de cuando están tomando o usando drogas, o cuando hacer como bullying en la internet.
Also, a big thing too with taking pictures, posting them on social media, underage drinking, drug use, any type of hate speech that's posted online. We have seen, especially these last couple of years, the damage that can do to someone's reputation. So, keeping that in mind, it can do damage to the reputation for our students at school. It can do it later on in the workplace. A lot of companies nowadays want to check out a candidate's social media profile to kind of get a feel for them. So, they can definitely create some damage to their reputation. They can also be punished at school if what they post breaks school rules. Even if it's outside of school, they can be charged with a crime if they're breaking a law on the internet, and it can hurt their chances of getting into a college and getting scholarships. Like when you apply on FAFSA to try to get scholarships to go to college, it can hurt those chances as well. Or worst case scenario, to hurt their chances of getting a job in the future.
Es importante que sepa que debe monitorar a sus hijos a lo que postan, digamos, si es fotos de tomar que están tomando y no tienen la edad de tomar, que es 21. Eso lo puede seguir si es que en el futuro ellos quieren ir a cualquier colegio. A lo que también postear palabras que sean de odio. También ellos pueden ser cargados y ir a la cárcel porque es algo que es ilegal. Y a veces lo que están haciendo en los trabajos es que preguntan por perfiles de que sea su social media, para que ellos vean cómo usted es en el tipo de social cosa, y cualquier cosa que usted postea es bien difícil de borrar y siempre le sigue en el futuro. Cualquier cosa que digamos que si usted hizo a lo que sea joven, le sigue siempre en el futuro y le puede afectar en el futuro si es que usted quiere conseguir cualquier trabajo, o si es que quiere ir a un colegio, o si es que quiere aplicar por becas.
I was going to do, what can you do? These are some things that you can do to help set some ground rules.
Estos son algunas cosas que puedes decir para poder conectar y aprender algunas reglas.
So connect with your child. Establish clear guidelines for the types of sites they can visit.
Conéctate con tu hijo o hija y y controla o ve a el tipo en internet en donde se están viendo las páginas. Es importante que sepas a dónde va tu hijo y tengas una lista de las cosas que ellos van a visitar.
Let them know which apps they can download and what kind of access they can have to electronics.
Deben decirles cuáles aplicaciones estén usando y otra vez hay maneras o cosas que puede uno implementar para tener un control de parental.
Plan some blackout periods so that they have time to disconnect from the internet and apps.
Es importante que tengas un espacio a que ellos, digamos que si es que usan la computadora, los tablets de 1 a 3, que tenga un tiempo que ellos tengan una respuesta y descansen para que no estén siempre en la internet.
Research before you buy. It's important to learn about the device's capabilities before you buy them.
Antes de regalar o dar a tu hijo o hija cualquier tipo de tablet o cualquier cosa de teléfono, es importante que hagas que busque la información del tipo de cualquier cosa que tengan acceso en las aplicaciones. Es importante que hagan ese deber y informarse para que ustedes sepan a lo que están dando a sus hijos.
Will it allow unknown people to communicate with your child?
Digamos, le van a dar, digamos, acceso a hablar con gentes extrañas, como hablamos en el PlayStation o Xbox o Nintendo, cualquier cosa así.
Will it allow children to make unchecked purchases?
En las cosas que usted les compra también pueden tener acceso o a veces pueden comprar cosas y yo creo que algunos le han pasado. Es importante que tener en cuenta de eso.
These are the questions that we must consider when we are connecting with our children.
Esto es algo importante a preguntar y saber y cuando usted esté conectándose con su hijo o hija.
So go beyond the safeguards. Installing monitoring software doesn't guarantee your child will be safe online.
A lo que usted pone aplicaciones o sistemas de software que son es un tipo de como programa que tiene la computadora. Usted debe saber que a lo que va a la internet, ellos no tienen ese bloque de privacidad como que tengan los programas o aplicaciones.
Time, attention, and active conversation are the best tools to protect them.
Hay algunas aplicaciones o sistemas que pueden ayudar con esos problemas.
Report it. If your children are dealing with cyberbullies or potential online enticement, report it to the website, the cell number provider, law enforcement, or at www.cybertipline.org.
Es importante que si es que ustedes tienen algún problema en la internet, que ustedes lo reporten. Cualquier cosa de bullying o si es que le están amenazando, cualquier cosa de violencia, pueden ir a la internet en de www.cybertipline.com y puede reportar cualquier problema que sea relacionado de las cosas que hablamos en la presentación de.
Learn the platforms. Know the platforms that are enticing to your children.
Es importante que sepa las aplicaciones o cualquier aplicaciones que tengan efectos a los estudiantes.
Be proactive and teach your children to spot common tricks used by online offenders.
Ser proactivo y como estamos hablando antes, que es importante monitorar a las cosas que estén ellos explorando en la internet y tener una lista a ver si es que, digamos, es algo consistente y usted ve algo que no sea consistente y los puede preguntar a su estudiante.
Also, engage with your children. Try the apps with them.
Es importante que usted lo trate las aplicaciones y explore la aplicación con su hijo.
Do activities that are family oriented and engage you and your scholar.
Hagan cosas que le pueden incluir a la familia y ustedes pueden conectar y hacer juntos.
Mr. Smythe?
I think, did you want me to go over it? I think you were muted.
Oh, okay, I'll do it.
All right.
Online privacy. What's okay, what's not okay?
Cosa de privacidad, qué cosa que continente que es bueno o lo que no es bueno.
You may also be concerned about how much information your children are sharing online.
Es importante que sepa que hay bastante informaciones que usted sepa o no sepa que ellos están mandando a sus amigos y compartiendo con gente extraños.
Some examples of things that are probably okay for them to share include
Estos son algunas cosas que ellos pueden, las cosas que sí pueden estar explorando y tener o conversaciones.
pictures of family and friends,
Lo que es bueno es que tengan fotos de la familia y amigos,
as long as they are posted with permission.
pero primero tiene que siempre que tener la prueba de la otra persona que lo pueda poner en la internet.
Personal information must be safeguarded online.
Cualquier cosa que ponga en la internet, asegúrese que ponga el seguro como un candado a lo que guarde y lo tenga privado.
When engaging on online apps or social sites, they should try to use tag or handles that don't have their real name.
Cuando hagan cosas digamos, de cosas de social media, es importante que no tenga su nombre para que no le sigan en el futuro.
They should limit the conversations that they have with people they do not know in an online game.
Y también es manera de poder tener como una protección a la gente que ellos juegan en la internet.
They should be careful about creating videos and streaming services.
Su hijo o hija deben tener precaución a lo que postan en la internet, cualquier video o foto que ellos pongan en la internet.
They should check in or share they shouldn't check in or share current location online.
No deben de compartir la locación cuando estén en la internet o con cualquier otra persona.
Their home address and their personal information, their age, the images of themselves should be kept private and be safeguarded.
Cualquier cosa que sea personal deben de tener privado cualquier información que es cosa que deben de estar fuera de la internet.
They should be wary about sending, viewing, or sharing explicit or provocative pictures.
Deben tener cuidado a contenido que sea inapropio como, fotos de gente desnuda o cosas que sean contenido privado.
Next slide, Mr. Smythe. You can do the next one.
All right, thank you. So kind of looking at like the personal information your children shouldn't share publicly online includes their passwords, obviously, home address, location, like, even just letting them know what city or town they're in. Cell phone, home, even though many people don't use home phone numbers anymore, but remind them not to use that. Cell phone numbers as well. And even their email addresses too is something that they should not be sharing online. So anything that they put online is public information. So, like, just got to remind them of the important things to post and not to post about themselves.
Es importante que sepa las cosas que su hijo o hija pueden poner en la internet, digamos si es algo personal, como informaciones de donde vive, al cualquier sea, igualmente la ciudad, no deben de compartir esas informaciones que es privada, porque hay bastante gente que le pueden robar esa información y o como digamos las contraseñas. Asegúrense que tengan sistemas que le aseguren su privacidad.
Yeah, so sharing like those private information online is a huge security risk because it can leave our children open to identity theft.
Cosas así es importante porque con sistemas ellos pueden ayudar a cómo ayudar en el sistema si es que le roban su contraseña, como dije en la anterior, o le pueden robar cosas que son personales y no deben de poner cualquier cosa así en la internet.
And a lot of parents think identity theft would probably impact older or adults more, but many identity thieves actually target children because you're less likely to notice until your child is older. Like, when they apply for their first credit card and it might say like, you're denied because you already have a loan out.
So, la gente que roba informaciones en la internet, ellos, ustedes capaz piensan que ellos roban informaciones de gente que son mayores, pero en realidad ellos se enfocan en gente que son menores porque saben que ustedes no se van a dar cuenta hasta cuando ustedes le van a sacar, digamos, una credit card, una tarjeta de compras. Entonces es importante que no compartan cualquier cosa personales.
Right. And some of these other issues that are listed here, online scams, especially young children may be tricked into sharing their passwords or visiting inappropriate websites by online scams that will promise them, click here and win this Xbox, or click here and win $5,000. So it's important to watch out for that and let the students or let our children know about these things.
Es importante que también a veces sabe ver como digamos como enchantes que le dicen, presiona aquí y te regalamos un Xbox, y a veces en esas páginas de link cuando usted cliquea le roban la información, o a veces le roban la información de la computadora o información personal, o le puede dar a veces virus en su computadora.
And another thing too to watch out, especially for our children, like the age that they are now too, is hacking, like sharing passwords and other information that, like, they store on their computer. Sharing passwords a lot of times could lead to someone else or a friend hacking into your child's account, pretending to be them, and then they could either steal information or they could post something pretending to be your child, which then would obviously cause a lot of unnecessary issues.
Es importante también a saber que el riesgo a compartir la información personal, porque a veces hay gente que puede hackear la información y robar el contenido. So, es importante que no compartan cualquier cosa porque le pueden robar cualquier informaciones que es bien importante.
And I guess, just summarizing this slide, the biggest takeaway here is also, like, keeping in mind when maybe if you're helping your child sign up for one of these accounts or sign up, log in when they're creating their Gmail accounts, their personal ones, it's important to not lie about their age. I know sometimes like the parent will think, oh, well, I'm going to put in an older age. So like, someone thinks that it's not a young child. But then what that creates is it opens up the possibility for the child to basically create all these other accounts. Like Facebook will not allow you to create an account unless you're 18 or older. So if someone has a Facebook account, that means they basically lied about their age, which kind of goes against Facebook policy, which if it was to be found out, they would cancel that account as well.
Es importante que sepa también que a veces cuando los padres a veces hacen cuentas que algunas de las páginas tienen restrictos a alguna edad y a veces mienten y ponen diferentes años. Y a hacer eso de ahí le enseñan también a sus hijos que pueden abrir cualquier página, digamos, social media como Facebook o Instagram y pueden mentir de la edad y atrae a gente que pueda hacerle daño a su hijo o hija.
All right. And here are, I notice and I appreciate you staying over. We're over time, so I'm going to finish off this slide and we'll play the video. We'll post this presentation, so any parents that were not able to join or the ones that are here, they can go through it at their own pace. But some things that we can do, or actually, do you want to translate that first?
Sure. So vamos a terminar con la última parte de la presentación y explicando con cosas o reglas que pueden, como hablamos en la breve anterior, a lo que puede compartir o no puede compartir. Y después vamos a enseñar otro video para terminar y también está grabado. So si es que hay algunos padres que usted conoce o si es que usted lo quiere ver otra vez, lo puede ver otra vez porque está grabado. Oh, you're on mute, Mr. Smudge.
Thank you. Happens so many times. I can't tell you how many times I hear that in a day.
Guilty.
Right? It actually makes me feel good, though. So that means someone's paid attention. Here's what we can do to help our kids from revealing too much personal information online. You want to establish rules about what they can share and under what circumstances. For example, it's okay for them to enter their address online if they're ordering something from Amazon with your permission, but it's not okay to enter their address on a pop-up that promises to send them, a prize or a vacation somewhere.
Es importante saber las reglas a lo que ellos pueden compartir o si es que hay páginas, digamos, si es que usted va a ordenar juguete o cualquier cosa que ordene y usted lo aprueba, es importante que usted pueda compartir su información personal de donde usted vive y a lo que usted esté monitoreando. Lo que no debe hacer es compartir eso con gente extrañas o con cosas en la internet.
Learning about the reporting options of any website, game that they're using, even again goes back to saying basically like all this information, like there's so many different apps and websites and it's continuing to change. It's very important for the parents to kind of maintain that level of conversation and finding out what apps, what websites our children are using.
Es importante saber cuáles son las aplicaciones que ellos están explorando y también que usted sepa que hay una manera que usted puede reportar y hay opciones que en la computadora o en los juegos que usted puede reportar cuando tenga cualquier riesgo que sea a cosas de privacidad.
Right. Also, setting privacy settings will, give you a peace of mind as a parent of who can see their personal private information online.
Hay sistemas que le ayuda cómo cómo poner su privacidad y le ayuda y le puede dar un poco usted puede estar un poco más tranquila sabiendo que usted tiene la privacidad puesta y no hay cosas que le pueden arriesgar a su hijo o hija.
And important to help them create a strong password, just to keep their personal information protected and making sure that nobody can hack into their account.
Es importante cuando usted crea una contraseña, a que sea una contraseña que sea un poco dificultante, que tenga a veces letras que sean capitales y minúsculas o con números, con símbolos, para que así a la gente que esté pescando por información o cualquier gente que está hackeando no pueda entrar a su cuenta.
All right, and this next one too is important, especially for mom that was in the meeting before, talking about like a friends list. In the beginning, like, you know, when our children are younger and first start using the internet, you basically want to tell them to only talk to people online that they know in person, like face to face, like family, friends, you know, nobody like outside of like the circle of people that they see offline. And then as they get older, so like especially, you know, like as like get those into those teenage years and start playing these online games, they will start talking to some people, like, you know, with the mic, but sometimes that switches over and like they like kind of form online friendships. So keeping that in mind, like it's important to maintain that conversation with your child and always know who their friends are. Is it someone that's online, or is it someone that, like, you know, you can put a face to?
Es importante tener una lista de amigos, a que usted sepa cuál es amigo que es de Xbox o PlayStation, amigo que es de juego, amigo que sea de Facebook o cualquier cosa que sea de redes, en las redes sociales. Y preguntarles cuáles son amigos y con qué compartir, para que usted sepa en la lista y si es que cambia la lista.
Right. And there's some great links online that parents can research, Google, that will give them more information on how to create a strong password, or how to keep the privacy settings, how to update them so that we continue to protect online safety of our children. And yeah, that's it.
Ahí van a dar, van a compartir con ustedes maneras, una página que usted puede explorar lo que hablamos, o le puede ayudar en cualquier cosa que usted necesite. Van a estar ahí dispuesto en lo que postan en la página.
Right. And let me see here.
Muchas gracias por venir.
So these slides, there's a few more, but again, we have run out of time. So I just want to let the parents know that are watching and that will be watching later. You can go through these at your own pace. And we're just going to finish it off with the internet safety or Save Internet for Your Child video.
Vamos a terminar con el video, y cualquier cosa usted puede tener acceso a la presentación y puede buscar a su tiempo. Y vamos ahora a ver un video a lo que es seguro para su hijo.
So this is, go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, I'll wait.
They can go and play.
Este es súper divertido. Diseñas todo un mundo extraterrestre y lo defiendes.
All right.
Este es súper divertido. Diseñas todo un mundo extraterrestre y lo defiendes de otras criaturas del espacio. Vamos a inscribirnos.
Espera un segundo, jovencito. No creo que sea una buena idea.
Vamos, mamá. Todo el mundo lo juega.
Seguro que sí, pero a mí no me gusta nada que te inscribas en esos juegos en internet. Hay tantos maniáticos por ahí.
Mamá, no es justo. Nunca me dejas hacer nada.
Empieza a preocuparme que Gregorio pase tanto tiempo en internet. Sé que muchas de las cosas que hace son educativas, pero me pone nerviosa. Simplemente no parece seguro. Ojalá tú pudieras estar aquí para supervisarlo.
Cariño, tranquilízate. Hay buenos motivos de preocupación, pero podemos enseñar a Ana y a Gregorio a usar Internet de forma segura. Es igual que todas las otras cosas que les enseñamos.
Es un poco distinto a enseñarles a cruzar la calle con seguridad.
No creo que sea tan distinto. Veamos. Mira, se me ocurren 3 cosas que podemos hacer para ayudar a Ana y a Gregorio a no exponerse a los peligros de la Internet.
Supongo que tengo que dar todos estos datos para poder jugar el juego de ortografía.
En primer lugar, es importante que sepan cómo mantener la privacidad de la información.
Recuerda que necesitamos mantener nuestra información personal privada. Hay desconocidos que podrían intentar hacer cosas malas con la información. Crea un apodo y no uses tu nombre de verdad donde los demás puedan verlo.
¿Qué te parece, super chico?
Perfecto. Y nunca le des a nadie tu dirección ni fecha de nacimiento en Internet.
Oye, Gregorio, ¿sabes quién es este?
No.
Mamá, una señora me manda correos, pero ni sé quién es.
En segundo lugar, hay que enseñarle a evitar a los desconocidos y a las fuentes de información desconocidas.
Lo estás haciendo bien. La regla básica es que solo debes hacerte amiga en Internet de personas que son tus amigos de verdad o tu familia. Si no, es como dejar que alguien entre en la casa sin saber quién es. Eso no es seguro.
¿Entonces borro los correos?
Sí, nunca se sabe lo que puede aparecer en un correo electrónico.
Ok. Miren, un correo de la prima Linda.
Mamá, mira qué impresionante. Mira qué cueva.
Y por último, debemos verificar los sitios que usan para asegurarnos de que sean adecuados.
Gregorio, veo por qué te gusta este sitio, pero algunas de las cosas que dicen son un poco más para adultos. ¿Qué te parece el sitio de construcción que nos enseñó el hermano de Jorge?
Sí, eso fue súper divertido. ¿Puedo construir una rampa para patinar como el hermano de Jorge?
Ahora me siento mejor con todo este asunto de las computadoras.
Me alegro. La tecnología puede asustar, pero tiene su lado bueno. Por ejemplo, me alegra mucho poder darte un beso virtual de buenas noches.
Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure having all of us here.
Muchas gracias por venir en esta noche y por venir hoy.
I hope that you have learned some tips about how to keep your children safe online.
Espero que ustedes aprendido algo de cómo contener su información privada.
If you need any more information, you can just go through the slides.
Si es que usted tiene cualquier pregunta o necesita más información, puede ir por la presentación que presentamos hoy.
Oh, ok. Bueno, en mi parte, muchísimas gracias. Fue de mucha ayuda. Todas las informaciones que dieron el slide. Sí, me gustaría volver a verlo para también verlo aquí todos en la casa. Todos los 2 videos, tanto el primero, el último y todos los slides estuvieron bien interesantes. Como también me gustaría que en la escuela le dieran esos videos también a ellos, que también ellos puedan no solamente que uno se lo diga como padre, sino también que en la escuela le reforcen un poquito también esa parte, que yo sé que lo hacen, pero esos videos estuvieron bien interesantes.
Okay, she's very, very thankful. She loved the presentation and the slides. You know, she was very informative, you know, a lot of new information. So she's very happy to, you know, have been here, and that she's also gonna be sharing that with her own family, the presentation, because she felt like it was very good information. And also she's aware that we already share that information with the students, but she feels like maybe reinforcement and just like like maybe more videos like the ones that you guys share, for that, so that there's more awareness.
Definitely, and again, like, you know, I think it's like, with the ever-changing internet, all these apps coming up, these new things, it's important to let our scholars know and remind them that anything they do online kind of leaves a footprint. So like it stays there and it doesn't go away, even though like some of these apps promise you, like, you know, take this picture and it'll disappear. Someone else can take a picture of it. So just, you know, kind of like, and it's good information, not just for children, but even like grown-ups, adults. We still hear on the news people getting themselves in trouble because they've shared their personal information. Even politicians, like, you know, thinking from a history perspective. So thank you. Yeah, it was glad you enjoyed the presentation.
Él está muy agradecido y que le gustó la presentación, y que sí es bien importante saber informaciones así, porque como él dice,